Let's get started. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here and for joining this hands-on workshop. I am Abhinav. I am working as a tech lead at ImageKit.io, and I've been working with ImageKit for the last 5 years. And I primarily focus on building the media and the image APIs that everyone uses. Today, in this workshop, we'll be building a YouTube clone in less than 40 minutes using the ImageKit's video API. And I am sure that if you're from India, you might have used apps like Swiggy, BigBasket, Zepto, or you've heard about brands like Traveloka or Philips. These customers are, these brands basically use ImageKit to manage and deliver their images and videos. Before we get started, I'd actually like to get to know a little bit about you guys. So you might have some basic questions on your screen right now. I'd request you to answer those. I'll wait for a minute. Okay. So without wasting any time, let's just dive into understanding what we'll be building today. And let me actually just show you a demo. So, yeah. So we have an application here that looks a lot like YouTube. There are videos here. There is a couple of hard-coded content like my subscriber name and other things. And you can actually go ahead and just click on any video. The video is gonna start playing, and you have a speed selector, by which you can actually go ahead and change what speed the video is playing at. And you can also go ahead and change the quality that the video streaming at. So this is very similar to YouTube. This feature is actually called Adaptive Bitrate Streaming. And this is one of the features that we'll implement today. And we'll talk a little bit later in detail towards the end of the workshop. And uh, yeah, that's pretty much it. We have the thumbnails of the videos that are showing up, and we have a separate page here that allows you to upload any new videos that you have. So if I say uh, I'll upload a video called For Better Fun, and let me just try to upload it once. It takes a couple of seconds. Oh, great. So the video is uploaded, and right now you can actually see the video being shown up here, and we have the thumbnail of the video also visible here. Okay. So at this point, I'd like to understand that if you guys have worked on any video streaming platform or any platform that required video streaming of any kind. You should have a poll on the screen right now. Okay, obviously that this application that we have, it's not a complete YouTube clone, and it's not possible to build the complete YouTube from scratch in 30 minutes when they've taken literally years to build it. It has a lot many features, it has a lot of things. But for today's workshop, we'll be focusing mainly on the video streaming concepts of it. And primarily that's where things are the trickiest. And yeah, so whenever we have an application that involves any kind of video streaming, we usually have certain components. We start with a web interface that is connected to your application server or your backend. And your backend actually interacts with a video encoding pipeline. Now, this video encoding pipeline is responsible for generating the thumbnails, even generating different variations of the videos at different quality levels, and ensuring that the videos are generated in such a way that they are easily streamable and they play very fluidly on the user interfaces on the customer side. And obviously that once you have all these videos encoded, you have different variations ready, you have to store them somewhere. So you have some kind of storage like Amazon S3 or even like a drive sitting on your server. So this is actually where ImageKit comes in. It takes out your entire responsibility and it actually eases the life of developers to implement that video encoding pipeline. As you know, it's the trickiest part of it. And it is a very simple to use API that we provide. And that is actually the aim of the API, so that you guys don't have to go ahead and implement that entire complex pipeline or even maintain that infrastructure to support that pipeline. Okay. So uh, we'll just directly jump into the code and we'll get started with it. We have four simple steps that we're going to follow through to build this application. So let's get set up with the basic project. So we'll require two things for working with this. We'll require an ImageKit account, and you can clone the basic boilerplate code that I've provided on the GitHub link below. The link should be available in the chat if you guys want to clone it right now, check it out, and follow along. So we'll just start with cloning the repository, then we'll run npm or yarn install, whichever tool you prefer using. And after that, we're just going to start server by running the script, dev script. So I have the project cloned here. Uh, yeah. So let's just run yarn dev. So we have the server running and we have it on localhost 3000. I'll wait for around 30 seconds or a minute here if you guys want to set the dependencies and follow along. So if you guys actually go ahead and open the URL that you found while running the server, that's localhost 3000, you should see a basic YouTube boilerplate code right here. I have went ahead and created this so that we don't have to play with the CSS, making sure it's right, making sure the divs are centered and other things. And we have a very basic uh, view here that is actually coming from a static JSON. So if you actually go into the code and see in the demo.ts file in the data folder, you will see that all the files are hard coded here. And this is actually just a copy of the ImageKit's uh, list API. So yeah, and yeah. So let's actually get started by implementing the upload. So let's just start putting more content into the application that we have. For upload, how the usual process works is that usually the user or anyone who comes to the website is gonna open up your front end, click on an upload button, select the file, and after that, the file gets shipped to your backend server. From your backend server, it goes to the encoding pipeline. If it's a video file, if it's an image, there might be some pre-processing that you run. And after that, it is saved onto the storage. And when you're using ImageKit, you don't have to get the files onto your server. ImageKit provides you with a client-side upload feature out of the box. And to upload this, all you need to do is have your application server generate a very simple signature. This signature is sent to ImageKit along with your file so that it can be authenticated into your account and it can be saved there. Now, every say file requires a new signature to be generated. That's how the upload works. And it's pretty straightforward. For implementing this, we'll use the ImageKit Next.js SDK that we have here. And this is already installed in the project have uh, if you're following along, and when you install the dependencies, this is already there. So let's see. We've already been passed through we're passed through the step that we need to install the ImageKit IO next package. So let's actually go ahead and try to initialize the SDK. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that it's much more legible. So we'll initialize the SDK. And for initializing the SDK, we need to create an env.local file that contains the following environment variables. Now, you should have a env.sample file. You can just copy it and rename it to env.local. I have actually already put in the environment variables in my environment file, but I'm gonna show you how you can get these values. So if you actually go ahead into your ImageKit dashboard, when you have your account, you can just directly go into the developer options. And this is where you'll find the API keys and the URL endpoint. So we can just go ahead and copy this and add this here. This is already here. And similarly for the public key as well as the private key. Now to get your private key, you will require an account password. So if you've actually went ahead and logged in with Google, you'll have an option here to set your password and then move forward. So for anyone who's following along, I'll wait for 30 seconds while you do so. Okay. So let's jump directly to how to upload files using our Next.js SDK. So for this, we need a secure backend route. Now, in Next.js, for anyone who's worked on it, we can just go ahead and create an API route directly in the application folder because we're using the app router. And it's as simple as using the Node.js SDK that we have. So the Node.js SDK is already installed in the boilerplate code also. So we don't need to worry about reinstalling it. And after that, we have to create this API route that contains the SDK initialization as well as get authentication parameters function. So if I go ahead and I'll go to pages, API, ImageKit, and I'll go to the auth file. So we have a basic API here that returns this JSON. So this is just a demo value. So if I go ahead and call the ImageKit get authentication parameters function, and let's actually go ahead and show it to you. So if I open this URL, we should actually see the token, expiry, and the signature. So this is what we'll send while uploading the files. So let's go back to here and see what the next step is. Next step is that we have to configure the authentication in our front-end application. So to initialize the SDK, we will actually define a function called the authenticator function. The authentication function is nothing complicated. It's just a simple function that you guys can resolve to return the values of signature, expiry, and token. So if I go into the underscore app.tsx file and I look for the ImageKit provider, I have already added the code in here. I am just gonna uncomment it and I'll go through it as to what exactly are those values. So we have the public key and the URL endpoint that we defined in the environment variable before, and we have the authenticator function, which just calls the auth API that we just implemented on the other side. And we're just returning the JSON, so it should work. And I'll just also go ahead and uncomment this. Yeah, so we have the provider set up. And let's scroll down. Let's see what the upload is. So to upload, we'll be using something called as a IK upload component. So if I go back into the upload.tsx page, and I'll close these. So we see that we have a form here that contains an input that is just a file input. So I'm gonna actually go ahead and remove this, and I'm gonna uncomment this code. That is the IK upload component. I'll also uncomment this, then I'll come back to the explanation as to what this component is. This component is basically a wrapper for the input element that HTML5 provides. And we have this component has some additional props, as you can see. Now, these props are all the parameters that you can use to control the upload functionality. So For the scope of this workshop, I will be using something called as custom metadata to save the title and the description that gets uploaded with the video. So ideally, we'll have a database that saves these values. I will be using custom metadata just to save some time and prevent the hassle of going into a database setup and schema setup and all of those things. So custom metadata is as simple as a key value store. So you have a JSON that you can save with the file, and you will retrieve those JSON when you actually fetch those files from the API. And we have a folder here where we are going to save the files, and then we have a couple of events that basically provides a feedback as to what the progress of the upload file is. And after that, we have another commented code that is a post transformation. I will come to this at a later point when we reach to discussing adaptive bitrate streaming. So let me just go ahead and save this and go back to our application. So we have here, let's just try uploading a file now for better joyrides. And I'm going to select this video. So it's going to take a couple of seconds for the upload to finish. Perfect. And the upload is done. So at this point of time, we see that the upload is done, but the video hasn't shown up here. Now that's because this data is coming from a statically coded JSON rather than the actual ImageKit endpoint. So we'll actually go ahead into the list API that our application is using. And in here, instead of getting the data from the JSON, I will say that let's use the ImageKit Node.js SDK to list the files from uh, path slash city.js videos. So this is actually the same folder that I had uploaded the videos before. And I'll say sorting, descending created. So I am making sure that the latest videos show up first. So if I go ahead and refresh, we see the video that we just uploaded 1 minute ago. And now we are actually missing the thumbnails. So to actually go ahead and implement thumbnails, ideally what we'll do is we'll download the file onto our servers, take out a frame, and upload it to an S3 or any kind of storage that you have. With ImageKit, it makes it very simple for you. All you need to do is just add the ik thumbnail.jpg suffix to your URL. That's it. Just add the suffix and your thumbnail will be generated. So if I actually go ahead and we replace this code, I will say that let's generate a URL using the ImageKit SDK with path is $file dot file path, sorry, slash ik thumbnail.jpg. And I'll actually go ahead and add in a safeguard to make sure that we don't use the cache copy. File.updated at get time dot toString. You can use any kind of cache burst versions or anything that you have. And let's just try to refresh it. So as soon as I refresh, I can see that I have all the thumbnails here. I have the thumbnail for the file that I just uploaded. So it was that easy. So let's just go ahead and try to play this video. Oh, so we have a 404 here because we never actually implemented the file detail API. So if I go ahead into the details API that I have here and uncomment this code, we'll get the file details using the file ID that is coming from the query parameters. And I am gonna generate the URL similar to how we used the URL, generated the URL for the thumbnail. But here I'm just using the static URL. And let me just replace that right here. And also, while I'm here, I'm also going to implement the thumbnail generation here as well. So as soon as I refresh this page, we should see the new video that we have, and I can actually go ahead and start playing it. And pretty much everything worked. We have uploaded a new video, we've made the thumbnails for it, we have watched the video once, uh, and we have things are looking good. But at this point of time, we have a small problem in our system that what happens when we are actually playing this video. And as you saw before, I had a small spike of latency that caused my video to actually flicker for a second. It didn't happen again, but it happened for the first time. That it just paused for a second, it started buffering. We saw the loading indicator. So how do we avoid that? To avoid it, we use something called as adaptive bitrate streaming. Now, how adaptive bitrate streaming works is that when we have like a video, we have a 1080p video, we're going to use that video in and transform it or re-encode it, or for a lack of better term, just optimize it to different quality variations or generate different quality variations of that original video. So we have a 1080p video, we'll generate a smaller 720p video, 480p and 360p, so that we can deliver according to what the device the video is being viewed on. So like if you're watching it on a phone that has a smaller resolution, there is no point in delivering a 4K video when the phone can't render it, or you visually can't see the difference in having a larger video there. So how this happens is we create these variations and we have the metadata of these variations saved in a manifest file. Now, a manifest file looks something like this. We have the bandwidth, that is basically how much data is being transferred when someone will try to watch this video. We have the resolutions. In some cases, we have the codecs, we have what format the video is in. We have all sorts of information, but we are mostly concerned about the bandwidth and the resolution for the scope of this workshop. So as you can see, this is a sample manifest for a M3U8 file. M3U8 file is nothing but a separate name for HLS streaming. So if I actually go ahead and show the documentation for this, so we have a rich documentation that relates to adaptive bitrate streaming, and we describe two different protocols here. We have HLS, we have Dash. So HLS is HTTP live streaming, Dash is dynamic adaptive streaming over HTTP, and generating these manifests usually is a very complicated process when you're trying to code that out. But with ImageKit, all you need to do is similar to how we made the thumbnails, just add a suffix to it. You just add a suffix called ikmaster.m3u8. That's it. For HLS, we use M3U8. For Dash, we use MPD. Now, these are just the file formats that the protocol follows. And yeah, so with this, you can also see that we have something called as a tr query parameter here. Now, what this tr query parameter is, it's completely an ImageKit feature. These are transformations. Now, transformations for in ImageKit will provide you an interface that you can use to modify any video or image that you have and that is being served through ImageKit. You can just go ahead and resize those videos, you can optimize them, you can make sure you're delivering the correct format on different devices. You can make sure that you can actually go ahead and add in overlays. You can add watermarks on your images, even on videos. And one of the things about transformation is while transforming images is a snappier process and it is easier to do it on the fly, with videos, the transformation can take a little time. That is why these transformations are asynchronous, because they require a greater deal of computing power, as well as a lot of different variables are in play depending on which protocol you're using, how long that protocol, the codec you're using, sorry. and how long that codec is going to take to actually convert. So there are a couple of variables. That is why implementing video streaming is using ImageKit and using transformations with videos is an asynchronous process. One of the required transformation for generating the ABS playlist is providing a list of resolutions that you'd like to generate. So as you can see, we have a transformation that says streaming resolution is 240, 360, 480, 720, and 1080. We have a list of transformations that you can use, sorry, that you can use. And for this demo, we'll stick with these 5 resolutions. So if I actually go ahead and make the change here, rather than generating the URL directly from the file path, I am just gonna go ahead and add the file path in. I'll say ikmaster mp3u8, and this is my streaming resolution. And I'm just gonna save it. So if I go into this, into our application and refresh this page, and let me try and play this video. Okay, I cannot play the video because it says that the format is not supported. Now this happened because, as I said before, video transformations are asynchronous. So when you first transform a video, there is a possibility that you might encounter a 202 success uh, status code. And if I go ahead and actually try to play an older video here, so I can actually see the video, and we're missing the quality selector. Let me just go ahead and add that back in. So I will go into videos and ID file and uncomment the HLS quality selector tab, and I'll refresh this page here. So we see the quality selector here, and we are actually delivering a proper ABS playlist. And by this time, if I open the latest video that failed previously, we should be able to get the uh, final uh, video here, but I don't think that it's ready yet. That is why it's just loading. So what we can do is, rather than actually delivering the video, we can have some kind of logic in our backend that, okay, the ABS playlist is not ready yet. And if it's not ready, I'll just either show a loading indicator while it gets ready, or I'll just send in the normal MP4 file and I'll send it the ABS playlist when it is ready. So to actually do that, and to actually eagerly generate these playlists, we have a feature that is available while uploading a file. It's called post transformations. That is something we saw when we were working with IK upload component. So we have post transformations when you go ahead and try to upload a video from your web interface or your application to ImageKit. You have the ability to assign a post transformation that as soon as this video appears in my media library, I want ImageKit to trigger this transformation so it is ready when someone wants to access it. Now, how will I get to know that this image is ready? This video is ready for streaming. ImageKit is going to send me a success webhook. And we have a couple of webhook events here. What we are mostly interested in is a post transformation event. So if I go ahead and check this out, so we have this kind of data that comes and we see that, okay, upload post transformation success. This is the file ID, and this whenever I'm embedding this file into my website, I have to make sure that this ABS playlist is ready. Now for that, I'll just go ahead and actually add that webhook in. So let's see, req dot body dot data dot file, sorry, file ID, and I'll add in conditionals nullish coalescing here, and I'll say if file ID is not available in the URL, the payload, just return a 404 error. And I am gonna actually use the ABS, I'm going to use custom metadata once again here to just mark that, okay, this file is ready. And let me just save that. And I have the webhook handler ready here, but how do I receive my webhooks on my local system? So for that, we'll be using a small software called ngrok, and we have the URL right here. So if I actually want to set this up, I can go into the ImageKit dashboard, go into webhooks, and as you can see, I already have a webhook right here. So this is the ngrok URL with API ImageKit webhook. This webhook is configured to receive the post-transformation success events. I can go ahead and add in the error handlers, all the other things. That's mostly required in a production level application, but for this demo, we will just focus on the success webhook. So if I, now that we are saving the flag in the custom metadata, we can actually consume this value right when we are fetching the file from ImageKit using the get file details API. And we'll say that when the file has a custom metadata called ABS ready, that's when you generate the URL for ABS. Otherwise, just return me the normal MP4 URL. And I just remembered that I forgot to uncomment this code right here in the upload page. So we have the transformation here, post transformation. We can provide multiple post transformations in while uploading. And we are specifying that the type is Adaptive Bitrate Streaming or ABS. The protocol is HLS, and these resolutions are what ImageKit has to generate for you. And if I go ahead and try to refresh this video now, so I should be able to play it no matter what. And we can actually see if the playlist is generated or not. This is not generated yet. It could have been generated, but we the flag might not have been set because we just implemented the webhook. So I will actually go ahead and try to upload another video for bigger joyrides. Let's see once this happens. Now that the upload is done, I should see the file right here. Okay, that's weird. It shouldn't happen. Let me check in the ImageKit dashboard if the file is uploaded. I think, yeah, the file exists in our ImageKit library, but I think Chrome decided to cache this endpoint in my local system. So if I actually go ahead and say for bigger joyrides, and we have this video that is playing, the ABS playlist is not yet ready, and oh, we've already received the webhook for this for bigger joyrides. Yeah, this is the file. This is the file we're talking about. And let me just cross-check the ID. Yes, that ID matches. And we have a very simple, the webhook came here and we have set the custom metadata to true. So the next time that I refresh and the next time I load this video, I should actually have the ABS playlist ready. And I can actually go ahead and change the quality to different sizes, to different resolution, and play it as much as I want. Uh, yeah. So till now we have done uploads, we have covered generating thumbnails, we've covered adaptive bitrate streaming, we've covered how you can use post transformations to eagerly generate transformations like ABS playlists. That's mostly it from the project standpoint. So we have the project running, we have everything done. So if you guys could not follow along, the entire finished project is available in a different branch on the same repository. And We do have a contest running right now. So we just made a YouTube clone. So the challenge here for you guys is to create a clone of your favorite website or application which uses videos, which streams videos using the ImageKit video API. And all you need to do is create the project, put in a walkthrough of your project, and tag ImageKit team on the LinkedIn. That's it. You have the chance to win exclusive ImageKit goodies. And yeah, we'll see you there. That's it from implementing the entire project, implementing the entire YouTube clone actually. And if you guys have any questions, the uh, questionnaire should be open right now. Oh, also, you might have a couple of questions appearing on your screen that we'd love if you could answer those. Okay, we have a question here. Do the auto-generated thumbnails have optimization defaults and can they be further optimized? Absolutely. So when you actually generate the thumbnails for any video, and let me just open the documentation so that I can show that to you. So when you generate the thumbnails, you have the ability to actually control the format, or I'm not sure if that is mentioned here. It might be on a different page. It'll take me a minute to find it. So when you create a thumbnail for any video, you can control the format of that particular thumbnail. You can either deliver a WebP or a JPEG, and these are auto actually selected when you're down trying to deliver it on any browser. So if I go ahead and open this image right here, and if I actually see the content type. So we have a WebP image that is being delivered here. Now, the reason it is a WebP is because my browser actually informed our servers that the browser supports WebP. And so we can just go ahead and deliver that. So if I just go ahead and say that I want the JPG file specifically, so I can just add in a transformation that says FJPG and we'll get the JPG file. But yes, there is auto format optimization when you generate a new thumbnail. You can just control those things on your own as well. You have the ability, but yes. Can we perform this ABS on file store in the Azure blob storage, and what is the pricing? Okay, that's a good question. ImageKit provides you with the functionality to actually bring your own storage. So if you go ahead and check this out, I'll go into external storage and I'll show this to you. At this point of time, you can define a new storage and you can just bring your own storage and use it. So you asked for Azure's blob storage. You can just provide it access every ImageKit features that is related to image and video delivery works with the external storages out of the box. So all you need to do is just link in your storage here and assign it to any API endpoint. So I'll just give you a demo. I'll add in my personal website here, and just say that I've added it here. And it's basically a web storage that I'm adding right now. And you can just go ahead and add in your website as a URL origin in the URL endpoint. And you're pretty much done. You can just access your images that you have, just that you have to change your prefix to this. So if you have any image here, so you can just go ahead and change it to this, and the image will start fetching. And regarding the pricing, you can check out the pricing in the plan section on the website. So it's pretty much explained very clearly over there. There are no hidden costs. Is the video processing charged every time I process the video? That is a no. The video, when you process a video for the first time, that is the only time you are charged for it. You will not be recharged for a video that has already been processed. Okay, so I don't think that we have any more questions. If you think of any at a later point of time, you can reach out to support@imagekit.io and we are happy to answer any questions that you have. Okay, so that's it. Thank you all for joining. It was a pleasure doing this workshop for you guys. Bye bye.